And that was, yeah, we'd said, hey, this is a research preview, no guarantees, maybe it goes down. But the minute you had people loving and using this thing, that didn't feel super good. So, people were certainly working around the clock to keep the site up. I remember, we obviously ran out of GPUs, we ran out of database connections, we had, we're getting rate limited in some of our providers. Nothing was really set up to run a product. So in the beginning, we just built this thing. We called it the fail whale, and it would just tell you kind of nicely that the thing was down, and made a little poem. I think it was generated by GPT-3 about being down, and it was sort of tongue in cheek. And that got us through the winter break because we did want people to have some sort of a holiday. And then when we came back, we were like, okay, this is clearly not viable. You can't just go down all the time. Um, and eventually, we got to something we could serve everyone.
Yeah, and I think the demand really speaks to the generality of ChatGPT, right? We had this thesis that ChatGPT embodied what we wanted in AGI just because it was so general, and I
Mhm.
think you're seeing that demand ramp just because people are realizing any use case that I want to give or to throw to the model, it can handle.
We were kind of known as the company working on AGI, and I think prior to ChatGPT, the API was certainly the first time we had a public offering where people could go use it and do it, but then it was more for developers and
Mhm.
stuff. And I think that as long as people were sort of thinking AGI, that seemed to be the point at which people thought these models would be useful. But we saw GPT-3, we saw that that was
Mhm.
useful, and then we saw that we could do other things that were useful. Was everybody at OpenAI on board with ChatGPT being useful or being ready to launch?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.